Creating a digital learning experience in the music classroom is fun, not only for the student, but for the teacher as well. It is a way to make the learning experience more hands-on, creative, and incorporates technology, which is essential for the student learners of today. I have created a lesson for my music theory class that incorporates several tools. I made the lesson on an iWeb page. The students will be creating a music composition on their iPhones or iPads. First, I will show them some examples of the final outcomes of their projects. Here are two examples of performances done on iPhones or iPads. I'll show you a snippet here.
When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, because you're amazing, just the way you are.
The second step in the lesson is to show the students many of the available applications that they can use to create their composition. There's also a link to a website full of similar applications. I created groups in Edmodo, which I will show you a little later. The student's goal will be to write an 8 to 16 measure tune to be performed on instrument applications available on their iPhones or iPads. Students can add vocals if they choose, and finished compositions should be written out on a score prepared on Finale Notepad. They should be submitted to the assigned Edmodo group page upon completion. In past years, I've assigned similar composition projects in class that did not involve technology. Students would have had to notate and write out their short composition on staff paper. The performances would have been on real instruments, and if you did not play that particular instrument, the performances of the compositions could prove to be very difficult. I would have not have created groups on Edmodo, and students would have been assigned groups randomly in class. Being able to pre-assign groups and have the final project submitted on Edmodo saves time and keeps both the student and the teacher more organized. For this project, the students must be familiar with 3 different technology tools. I chose these tools because the students are already familiar with most of them, because I use them throughout the year. The first tool I use is Edmodo. All of my classes and extracurricular groups are on Edmodo. It's easy to assign groups within Edmodo and have projects saved online, so they're not only archived but available to the student and the rest of the class, now and in the future. You can see clearly when a student turns in their assignment and when they haven't. And you can also see that I have already assigned groups to my music theory class for a previously assigned project. The second use of technology is Finale Notepad. I chose this tool because it is free and all my students are familiar with how to use it. I have previously done projects on the program, and you can quickly create and save and submit on Edmodo from Finale. I'm going to show you a small example here of a project handed in on Finale Notepad from an AP Music Theory student. And lastly, while we don't currently have an iPad lab, it is a future goal of mine to have a lab for the music department. Many students do, however, have iPhones, so even if we had a small amount of available iPads to use, we could still complete this project with individual student phones. This lesson is ideal because it has something in it for all 3 types of learners. The visual learner who learns best by seeing, the auditory learner who learns by hearing, and the kinesthetic learner who learns best by feeling or experiencing. The visual learner prefers to use images and pictures, colors, and maps to organize information and communicate with others. They can easily visualize objects, plans, and outcomes. In this lesson, the visual learner can see videos of examples. They can learn and create using iPads or iPhones, which are extremely visual in nature. The auditory learner learns through listening. An auditory learner depends on hearing and speaking as a main way of learning. Since this is a musical composition, The auditory learner will learn through hearing melodies and rhythms that are created on their iPhones or iPads. They will be able to hear examples as a guide. They will also be able to hear other group projects as well as their own after it is recorded and posted on Edmodo. And the kinesthetic learner can learn by carrying out physical activities rather than listening to a lecture. Students will be able to touch the iPad or iPhone and produce sounds on piano keys, guitar strings, drum sets, cymbals, and other instruments. Overall, the use of technology in the classroom has helped students of all learning styles remain engaged, organized, and become more productive.